Hello everyone, this is the second episode of practicing communication while solving LeetCode. Today's exercise is called valid parentheses, and the reason why I chose this one is because it is a really nice introduction to the concept of stack. On the last episode, we went through brute forcing, hash mapping, sorting, two pointers. Uh, on this one, we're going to be going through a new one. And what is a stack? A stack, similarly to an array, has a bunch of positions that we can store values in it, like position 0, 1, 2, 3, and goes all the way up to the length of the array -1. But the main difference between a stack and a regular array is the concept of first in, last out. So the first value that we put inside of a stack is going to be the last value that we are taking out of it. So right now I'm filling our stack with a bunch of values. And if I want to take the value on the first position of the array, I can only, on the stack, sorry, I can only do that if I remove everything that is on top of it before. So it is really helpful for some special things. And for today's exercise, is going to be especially helpful for us. This exercise is called valid parentheses, and it gives us a string containing characters that can be either open brackets or close brackets. And we have three types of brackets. We have this one here, we have the key parentheses, and a square parentheses. So circular, key, and square. I also have no idea what's the name of those in English. I'm thinking in Portuguese right now, but let's move on with that. The main idea is that if I have like an input of open bracket, key bracket, and then square bracket, I need to have this closed in a way that I cannot have something like opening a bracket and then having another bracket and then having the first bracket close and then another one open outside of it, because this wouldn't be a valid operation. So what we need now is a way to check if our input S is valid or not. Over here we have some examples of inputs that would be valid, and also some examples of invalid inputs. There are mainly three ways that we can solve this, but only one of them actually is useful. And this one is using a stack. So let's say that for our array, sorry, for our input, we have something like this here. The way that we would be able to see if this is valid or not using a stack is that for each input that we would be getting, we would be putting it inside of our stack and then repeating this process until we find a closing bracket. Now, over here, we have the first closing bracket that appears. And what we would do is that the moment that we find a closing bracket, we would be comparing it with the top of our stack. Now, right now, the top of our stack is also a square bracket. So what we would do is that since they are equal, we would just pop this value and then move on to the next one. But if this wouldn't be the case, and we would, let's say that the top of our stack is a circular parenthesis, then we would be returning false as a claim that this input is invalid because we are closing a bracket with one that is different from the one that we got as input. Over here, we have a code solution for it. Last time I was using C++, I'm using Python. What we are doing over here in Uncode is that, hold on a second. We are starting by checking if the char on top is a valid one. So for example, if I were to have a stack that has like a number or a letter inside of it, then we wouldn't be appending it. And after that, we are looking for closing brackets, and if the top is different from the type of bracket that we have on our input, which means that for our stack, we could be having something like having a square bracket and then the next one being a circular bracket, which would be invalid. In that case, we would be returning false. Otherwise, this will be passing through all the way until we are able to go to our whole input. And if we go to the whole input and we don't find that it is invalid, like for example, we have this followed by this, and then this, closing square, closing key, closing parentheses, then we would be having a valid input because we went all the way up until the end of it, and we didn't find any mismatches. Well, this is basically it, and thank you very much. See you in the next episode.